parents. Welcome to the Masterful Parenting Podcast. I'm Ann Alvares, parent coach, school counselor, and mother of two. Do you sometimes struggle with your parenting role? Do you notice that sometimes you're repeating patterns that you learned in your own childhood? Maybe you are carrying childhood pain that has not been healed, and you notice that it is showing up in your parenting with your own children. Perhaps you yell or get frustrated easily. Maybe you are directing them or telling them what to do all the time, and you notice that your actions are affecting your relationship with your children. Well, parents, I totally understand this. I came from childhood pain and I learned how to be a relational parent with my children. And I can teach this to you as well. This podcast is all about learning how to heal the childhood pain that we are carrying so that we can foster healthy relationships with our kids. Join us every week for a new show and we will dive into the healing and the fostering of healthy relationships with our children. Hello, parents. Welcome to the Masterful Parenting Podcast and YouTube channel. Today, I'm going to address a question that has been asked many times by parents. And so I want to address this question, and hopefully by the end of this session, this episode, you will have a full understanding. So here's the question. The question is, what is relational parenting? So relational parenting is so misunderstood because it's not letting your kids do whatever they want. It's not, there's no structure, no discipline. That is not what relational parenting is. But relational parenting is going to be, breaks it down into certain parts. So I'm going to break it down for you. So the core definition is this. Relational parenting is an approach that prioritizes connection, emotional safety, and the parent-child relationship as the foundation for guidance, boundaries, and discipline. So you might say that relational parenting doesn't remove boundaries, but it changes how we hold them, how we talk about them, how we present them to our children. Because the relationship comes first, because it's the relationship that makes the guidance possible. Strengthening our relationship with our kids helps us to guide them better. And that's why being in a good relationship with your kids is actually where you can make the most impact. So the relationship is a vehicle for learning. So children learn best from people that they feel safe with. And when you have connection, it increases cooperation. And fear creates obedience, but it damages trust. So it's just to clarify, relational parenting is not permissive parenting. Boundaries still exist, but they are delivered with empathy, okay? Not scolding, not controlling. They are delivered with empathy and care so that your child knows that you are looking out for his or her best interest, and that is why you have a boundary. Okay, so number 2 is in relational parenting, we emphasize connection before correction. So to explain this, it's when a child is dysregulated and cannot access logic, and they need emotional safety to open up the learning, okay? And discipline works after connection happens, not before. So, for example, you are eye level with your child, not standing over them, because eye level means I want to understand where you are, whereas standing over them seems that just the idea of someone has more power or control, okay? And we name the feelings that they're going through. before we name the rules. We say, I know you're feeling frustrated. I know you're sad about this. I know you're disappointed. We use those rules, or sorry, those words to help our child, or to let our child know that we understand how they're feeling. Okay, because that builds empathy and it also builds connection before we say what the rule is. But you have to be in bed by 9 because there's school tomorrow, whatever the rule is. And we try to be physically close to them. That means that we're not going to walk away and create distance. We're not going to ignore, right? Because ignoring actually is unhealthy parenting in a relationship. Nobody wants to be ignored, right? When you're having upset, you don't want to be ignored. However, you may need space, and our kids may need space, and we can talk about that as well. Like, do you need space right now to process this or to get upset? Or is it helpful if I'm with you? But that again is communicating relationally, right? So number 3 is behavior is communication. So whenever our kids are acting out, they're telling us a story. They're telling us something is going on. So children express themselves through their actions because they don't have the words and they don't have the experience to understand what is going on with them. So that's why they behave or misbehave, however you want to term it. But their actions are communication, not trying to be mean to us, not trying to get back at us, none of that kind of stuff. And relational parenting is listening before reacting. And some of the ways that our kids are communicating, or some of the things that they might be communicating to us, is if they're being defiant, it might be that they need more independence or they're growing and they want to try new things and we are blocking that. Or if they have a meltdown, it could be that they're overwhelmed. There's too much stimulation, there's too much going on. Or if they withdraw, it could be that they're scared, or they're going through some emotional struggle, and don't know how to process their feelings, right? So we have to think of behavior as communication. That's really key in relational parenting. And also in relational parenting, parents regulate themselves first. Okay, so this is really, really key. And the reason why is because our children borrow our nervous systems. So when we are calm, it helps our children to get calm quicker, right? And calm is contagious. So if we are calm and speaking softly to them, even in my teaching career, I have noticed this when I am calm with a student who's struggling, who's having anger issues, and I speak calmly to them and with empathy, and I'm close, in proximity because I want to try to understand what is going on with them, then it just diffuses everything because now the child feels safe. There's an adult that wants to help them. Okay, and it's the same with our kids. When we are calm and we are close to them and we are letting them process their emotions, then it helps them. It helps them to de-escalate or to calm down themselves. So yelling, rushing, threatening, all of this, parents, increases our kids' stress. So that is why it's so important that we regulate first. And we can invite self-awareness, because we're not perfect. And maybe this is not how we were raised. Maybe our parents yelled at us and responded really quickly with anger. But we want to model healthy relationship with our children. And so the way we do that is we become aware that I'm getting triggered or I'm feeling upset right now because my child's having a meltdown. We become self-aware and we ask ourselves, what's happening right now to me? Why am I so upset? You know, why am I personalizing my child's behavior? They're struggling right now. Am I responding or am I reacting? Okay, and that helps us to regulate. Once we become more and more aware of what is bothering us that our children are doing, then we can diffuse it. We can get in there and we can say, okay, why? What is happening? Why do I feel this way? When did I feel this way when I was a kid? How do I want to respond different? And so the other thing too is that boundaries are held with empathy. Okay, so this is also relational parenting. Boundaries are held with empathy. So important to reframe in your mind, parents, that empathy doesn't mean agreement. When we show empathy, it doesn't mean that we're going to give in. It doesn't mean that they're going to get that shiny red car or whatever it is that they want, the candy, things that they want. It doesn't mean we agree. It just means that we understand how they feel. We get it. We get it's disappointing not to be able to get what you want right now. And that actually builds connection. Empathy builds connection with our children. And validation doesn't remove limits. So when we're validating, where we're saying, I get it, it's disappointing. I know you really wanted that Pokemon card. I understand, honey. I get it. Okay, but we're not going to give in to things that we don't value or we don't think is good for them, right? Because that's parenting leadership. And relational parenting is parenting leadership, but it's also focusing on building connection, understanding our kids, and guiding them. So I understand you're angry. Here's an example. I understand you're angry, but I won't let you hit your brother or sister. Okay, so now you are taking a parent leadership role. You're building safety and you're building predictability because now your child knows that is not something you're going to tolerate. And you're also building trust, right? Because you're saying, we don't hit. If your brother hits you, I am going to get in the way too. I'm going to make sure that everybody in the house is safe. Okay, so that is really important, parents. And number 6 point is that repair is central to relational parenting. That means we can make mistakes and our kids can make mistakes and we can repair the relationship because neither of us are perfect. Our kids aren't perfect and we're not perfect. So we have to normalize imperfection. And sometimes we're going to yell because we're tired, we're frustrated. Sometimes we're going to do things that we don't want to do because we are overreacting. Okay. And so we're going to miss cues. But the important thing is that we repair. We take ownership. We said, I shouldn't have yelled at you. I shouldn't have got mad. I should have listened to you. I interrupted you and I'm not listening to you. I'm sorry. Right? Apology builds trust, not weakness. It's modeling healthy relationships. In healthy relationships, we apologize if we've done something to hurt the other person. Okay. So repair models is, I didn't handle that well. I'm sorry. Can we try again? I'm sorry. Your feelings matter. And I messed up and I want to make it right between us. Right? It's so powerful in a kid's mind because now there's trust, more trust built with them. Number 7 is relational parenting is developmentally informed. That means that expectations change with age. All right. So younger children might need co-regulation. They need you to sit close with you. They need you to model how do you regulate. But older children need more collaboration. They need more, how can we solve this problem? What can we do about this? You can have way more discussion time with kids that are older, like 10 and above. right? Maybe even if your child's very mature, maybe 6 and above, right? But the toddler years, yes, they need more co-regulation, but as they get older, we can involve them more in communicating and also in the problem solving, okay? And teens need respect and a voice. Teenagers want to be respected by their parents, just as we want respect from them. And they want to be able to voice their opinions and also try new things because they're growing up. They're getting into adult life. They don't want to just like become an adult one day and not have had any experience or exposure to things. So we as parents have to listen to that, right? That's relational parenting is I'm going to listen to my child and my child is going to tell me what they need. And then I'm going to help them with that. So it's not a one size fits all. And relational parenting grows with our children. Number 8 is it often requires a healed parent or the healing of the parent, right? And this is why I'm so passionate about healing our childhood. And it's something that I really, really work on with kids, with parents, because I came from childhood pain. So I understand how it shows up in our parenting. And I made a commitment to change. I made a commitment to myself to heal, to get healing, right? And sure, things still show up sometimes, but I'm so much better with practice and understanding where my thoughts are coming from, from my childhood. So um, it's so important that we get healing parents. If our childhood has pain, if we if there were things that our parents couldn't give us that we needed, it's really important that we heal that part so that we can raise our children in a healthy way. So relational parenting can feel harder if you weren't parented this way. I've worked with parents that say, this is really hard. Like it's not natural for me to talk this way to my child because I do give parents the words to use that are relational. And I know it's hard, but once you start getting into it, like once you start practicing it, it's going to get easier and easier. The reason it's hard is because you didn't hear it as a kid. So that's why it's hard. But it's what our children need, honestly. And it's what we needed when we were kids. So old wounds can get activated, and support and self-compassion are so important. As you're going through this healing journey, you need to have support and you need to be kind to yourself because you were not modeled this. So you cannot expect to know what you didn't know, right? You're learning. So you have to be kind to yourself as you're transforming your parenting. Um, you can say, this feels uncomfortable. It doesn't mean you're doing it wrong. It means you're doing something different. And that's exactly what I was saying. You are retraining yourself in relational language so your kids understand and feel heard. Okay. And what is relational parenting is not. Okay. Just want I want to go there to help you parents who are skeptical about relational parenting. It's not permissive. It's not ignoring behavior. It's not never saying no. And it's not letting kids run the household. Okay, it's none of those things. We are still parent leaders in relational parenting. But this is what it is. It is intentional. So we have intention in our parenting, and that is to raise healthy kids that feel loved and secured in their homes, right? Raise healthy kids that can foster and grow into adult life. Um, Responsive. That means that we are responding to them, not ignoring them, that we respond to what they need. Respectful. That means we want to know more about them. We want them to feel like they're important in our lives. And last of all is we're firm, but we're kind about it. We have boundaries, but we're kind. We explain. Parents, I have boundaries with my kids. I tell them this goes against my values. I explain the reason why. But I'm telling you, because the connection is so strong, my children are willing to listen to the boundaries I have. And they understand the logic because I explain it logically to them, right? I don't want us to do this because of this. Okay, so it makes sense to them. I hardly ever have arguments, even when I have boundaries, because that's the thing is when you are really deeply connected, you're not really going to argue too much about things. Okay, so the closing message is that relational parenting isn't about controlling behavior. It's about building the kind of relationship that shapes a child for life. And they are going to grow into this amazing um, adult life with confidence, learning how to be relational themselves. So, breaking the pattern of what we grew up with, learning how to communicate, have emotional intelligence, understand how a person is feeling. We're going to be raising amazing people that are kind, that are independent, that go for their dreams, that care about people. Like honestly, I am telling you, this is how we can get there, is by being relational with them. And taking this step is really, really important. So, parents, I just want to let you know I revamped my my Masterful Parenting 9-week parenting course. And I'm offering it this month, February, um, with $50 off. So you're going to get a good deal for 9 weeks. Plus, you're going to be part of a healed parent community um, within the course to get extra support. And in that community, you can ask as many questions as you want while you're doing the course to get extra support. And just maybe you have a question about a specific thing that's happening with your child that you're not sure what to do with or how to handle or what words you can use. And so I'm excited because I feel like this course is such a good revamp of my first course. There's so many more lessons and there's so many more tools that you can get from the course. So I'm going to get you to check it out, and I will put it with the podcast notes as well. But it will be promoted on all of my social media. So if you want to step on and learn relational parenting step by step, week by week, and also get the healing support that you need for what you're carrying, if you're still carrying childhood pain, then I am so happy to offer this for you, parents. All right. Thank you. Hope you learned now what relational parenting is. Take care, everybody. Bye. Thank you, parents, for joining the show today. If this show blessed you, changed you, or helped you in any way, I would appreciate a Google review or a review on my podcast. And I would love you to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Masterful Parenting, so we can get the word out to more parents about relational parenting. Thank you so much, parents, and we will see you next time. Take care, everybody.